Am I the idiot for backing out of my best friend's wedding since the best man was my ex-fiancé who cheated on me? Jump into the worst week of my life. I was with my ex-fiancé for 6 years, loved him with every fiber of my being. The wedding planned for August. Refused a job offer so I could move with him for his next Air Force assignment. Monday, a call girl from a website called Massage Republic texts him in the middle of the night saying she's reaching out to old clients because she's back in the game. His phone was at my house while he was flying. I text back she must have the wrong number. She says she doesn't. In a moment of brains I pretend to be him instead of the jealous girlfriend and call girl gives me all the details. I'm such a fool, this has been happening under my nose for years. I confront him. He claims to be a sex addict and promises to change. I consider it for half a second and say no. Cue uncontrollable crying, self-doubt, a battery of STD tests, awkward encounters with him, fight over the ring, his mom, who I loved, calling me non-stop and begging me to reconsider and on and on. And on top of all this my best friend is marrying his best friend on May 11th. Groom doesn't want to rock the boat at this late date and select a new best man. Bride says she has way too much on her plate and is begging me to just go through with it and she'll make it up to me. I've never hated a human being as much as I hate him. I can't be in the same room with him, let alone walk arm in arm with him. I understand the whole wedding doesn't need to fall apart because I'm upset. So I just want to not go and spend the day downing the leftover painkillers from my wisdom teeth operation, fricking as many Tinder dudes who can stand to be around me after not showering and burning all his poop. Would I be an idiot if I backed out of the wedding? Edit. Wow, I checked out for a few hours to try and sleep and this exploded. I'm so sorry, I haven't been reading, I'll try and catch up. Edit 2. Okay guys, I don't know what the verdict is, but whether or not you voted you're the idiot or not the idiot and said I should go anyways to support my friend. We were friends before we were born. Our moms were college roommates. Your argument were the most convincing. I'm going to suck it up, participate, have fun, make my lock screen image the text from Panama where she said, remember, you like tonguing my asshole. So when I get sad I have an instant reminder of who he really is. And then when it's all over I'm going to scream myself hoarse and beat the ever-living frick out of my pillows. If I can update a week from now I will. I still have a lot of reading to do, so thank you all for commenting. Edit 3. That won't be seen. Guys, I've had the worst week of my life and been crying almost non-stop since 3 a.m. last Monday, or Tuesday, or whatever. I have to clear up people calling my best friend an idiot. That just isn't the case at all. I love her as much as I love any person on the planet and she has my back. But this wedding is now a week away. It's not a simple thing of kicking me out or asking my ex-fiancé not to come. Everyone is furious with him, but only she, me and he know the details of calling girls. My ex's parents, grandparents and everyone else are going to be at the wedding. He's as close with the groom as I am with her. If they make big changes now then the day becomes about what he did, not about the wedding. It's not my place to demand the groom change his best man. A week out no less. Plus like I said, he knows my ex cheated. He doesn't know my ex was sleeping with prostitutes. If I bring that up then this whole week becomes about that. My best friend and her groom being assholes isn't even an option on the table. They didn't do anything wrong and just reacted with the best information they have. My friend has offered me the chance to allow me and ex-fiancé to walk in with other people or even separately, but I'm not going to do that. First of all because I think it will look weird. And secondly I foresee getting a sick sense of satisfaction of touching him one last time, forever, and have him know that spark he feels. Could have been forever come August but he fricked it up. Update. Some of you may also know that my story got featured on major news websites and blogs. It was crazy. I left way too much identifiable info in my post so pretty much all my social circle knew it was me, and it was also the way most everyone figured out ex had been cheating. We had a meeting among the four of us as to whether or not we proceed. We pretty much agreed that not showing up would cause more drama and whispers than if we didn't show up, so we agreed to be civil and stay in our respective places. But having to spend that hour or so in the same room with him just fueled me up with adrenaline and pure rage. That led into a bachelorette party that night where I got freaking hammered and honest to God made out with so many guys while dancing I can't even count. I also ended up having my first one-night stand ever with a 20-year-old super cute guy from our university's wrestling team who was so sweet. I'm not proud of doing that, but I'm also not ashamed either because it made me feel desirable and almost like I was going into the wedding day and rehearsal with some parody since he can be naughty too. X and I were of course paired up at rehearsal, and I hate to admit this, we had an absolute blast with each other. It wasn't a mistake that we had such a great and fun relationship. We are very compatible. It probably also worked because we were able to put the issue on the side and focus on something else. Wedding was very much the same way. We walked arm in arm down the aisle with big beaming and genuine smiles since we were there for our friends. I had prepared a really nasty maid of honor toast that would have praised my friend and her loving relationship, loyalty and truthfulness. I even included a line about you never know who is going to call in the middle of the night. But as the reception wore on I could tell the weight of the situation was really getting to my ex. I felt like I really didn't need to twist the knife any further, so I gave a nice but very generic toast. As night went on the ex was more and more out of it and sitting by himself either on his phone or with his head in his hand. I didn't want people talking about him, so I asked him to dance with me, which was actually really nice since we both didn't say anything. At the end of it he put his hands around my face like he was going to kiss me. I would have totally let him in that moment and just whispered how sorry he was and walked away. I got distracted and turned around. He had apparently left the reception. I hate myself for it, but I was so sad to see him go. This wedding is literally the last thing we ever have to do with each other. There's no expectation of got Sundays or Bloody Mary brunches with his mom. We won't argue over how bad IPA beer smells or who forgot to put gas in the car. Like the reality of him just being able to leave without me arguing that I'm not ready to go yet. Classic introvert, extrovert pairing here, sunken that this is over. Like over ... over. I went and cried uncontrollably in the kitchen of the hotel until the bride found me and cried for a good half an hour. With that I knew I made the right choice in being there for my friend. So that is that, the wedding is over and done with. No real drama, lots and lots of hurt feelings and a huge broken heart that I'm not sure how it will ever heal. I wish I could just turn off loving him, but it's not going to happen. Edit. Last word on this, guys, and it's really honest to God say thank you. This sub has been such an amazing place, and a particular shout out to UseSagefist, who is a great moderator and absolutely coaxed me into the right decision. I still have something like 12 inbox notifications, and I'm sure the people who gave me gold and silver are in there somewhere. If I don't get to thank you privately, please know that I do thank you. And thank you so much for the words of encouragement that I will move on. I know I will. Right now it's so fresh and I just keep thinking, God, if you wouldn't have been up that night worrying about work, you never would have seen the text come in and you'd be ignorant to all of this ... and happy. But that's not healthy, because wishing to live an uninformed and ignorant life is never what I want it to be. Anyways, I'm indulging in self-pity and I don't want to do that anymore. This has been a crazy ride and I just want to say thank you. And Fox News ... you kinda suck. Not the idiot. You are seriously an amazing, incredible person to have been able to stay and continue with this wedding, after everything that he did. And this is something your friend will never forget. That despite all of the pain, you stuck with it for her. You did something most people would not be able to do, not with the grace that you handled it with anyway. I know I would not have. You are obviously an amazing, kind, loyal, and principled person, and one day, if you are ready for it, someone else, someone who gives you the respect and care that you deserve, will be beyond lucky to have you as a partner. Should she have gone to the wedding? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I the idiot for asking to have dinner with my father and not the woman that he cheated on my mom with? So I, female 20, have a bit of a strained relationship with my father, 63 meters. He cheated on my mom with his current wife and left once my mom found out. Now the issue is that I am always uncomfortable around his new wife. I am polite to her and nice, but I don't want to be in a room alone with her. I mainly just talk to my father when I visit and don't engage in too deep of conversation when we talk. This wouldn't be a problem if he wasn't always with her. I recently asked if we could get dinner one-on-one or something and he said that's not fair. He said they're a package deal and that she is a part of his life and he's committed to her. He then said that once I became friends with her then we could do one-on-one stuff. I said I'm sorry, I just can't be friends with her. I just can't. I am a horrible liar and people can easily read my face and body language. He got upset and said that I must not love him enough. I told him that isn't true. He then used an example of how if he were to hate my partner, a woman, then people would agree that he obviously doesn't love me if he doesn't accept them. I said that's different, but he said it isn't. I just really want to know, was it an idiot thing to ask? I said I was sorry for suggesting it, but I don't feel like it was wrong to at least ask him of that, even if it was a bit selfish. Update. Okay, so I talked to my dad about how his comment comparing my partner to his wife was completely wrong and he said that his wasn't. What a shocker. He then went on to talk about how I am a judgmental person and he never judges anyone for their actions, unless it's murder or child abuse, since you never know what someone is going through. I just told him whatever. I guess I am judgmental, but still it hurt me that he cheated on my mom with his wife and he said that it wasn't cheating. He said the marriage was over and I said, how did you know that? Did you talk to mom about it? He then said he knew it was over because she didn't get him his 401k at his new job, and if you want to spend the rest of your life with someone you'd do that for them. He said when he asked why she didn't, she said figure it out yourself, and he took that as the marriage being over. I later found out that's a complete lie and she actually did get him and her both a 401k, so yeah. He then went on and asked me when the last time I saw my mom was, since he wanted to compare. I said it was my uncle's, mom's second brother, funeral. He then angrily said, well, okay, when did he die then? I broke down crying because I didn't want to think about the day my uncle died. He then just sighed and said, okay, doesn't matter, my point is you see your mom more than me and that's not fair. I was so upset, so I just said, okay, listen, I can't talk to you as much anymore. He got upset and asked why and I explained everything to him. He just said that I'm being judgmental again and I'm punishing him and hurting him. I said you hurt me when you cheated on my mom. He then said he only hurt me and my mom once and this will hurt him forever. I said that was wrong and I won't be talking to him unless it's a holiday or something important. I haven't talked to him since. Thank you everyone for your comments and advice, and I'm sorry that some of you have dealt with similar, worse situations, but I'm glad to know I'm not alone. Not the idiot. And your situation is almost identical to mine about 30 years ago. My dad had been having an affair for 3 years and almost convinced my mom that she was the unhappy one and that he was happy in the marriage. She finds out about the affair and ugly divorce ensues. The mistress had been trying to cultivate a friendship with me. I knew her from my job, probably in the hopes of making an easy transition when my dad left my crazy demanding mom. When I was about to get married, I wanted to just talk with my dad about the plans. Not him and his mistress, just him. And he said the same thing as your dad did. She and I are a package deal. Ever since, I don't have a relationship with him, and I've been much happier that way. The gaslighting and desire to look like the good guy won out of his responsibility to actually be the good guy. Sometimes the trash takes itself out. Sending sisterly hugs. Would you keep seeing your dad if he acted like this guy? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I the idiot for saying this after my dad cheated on my mom? I used to be really close to my dad, but then he cheated on my mom when I was 13. Well, that's when she found out, and got his mistress pregnant and left my mom and married her. My mom still made me go over and see them because apparently he still loved me. So now my dad and I have a weird relationship where I can't cut him off because he's my dad, but I don't like his wife. She tries to have a relationship with me and wants my approval but have some respect and leave me alone. And don't really want anything to do with the kid, but I'm still nice. BC, it's not his fault his parents suck. I am 26 and have a boyfriend. I'm gonna marry him one day. He's the one for me, and my dad wanted to meet him and talk to him. I joked, but not really a joke, and was like, haha, are you going to be one of those dads who threatens their daughter's boyfriends? Are you gonna tell him not to cheat on me? Are you even allowed to say that? Or is that not a threat because you support cheating? My dad started crying, which was new for me because I kid you not, my dad is one of those retired army, football, steak, hunting, no crying kind of man. He told me that losing my brothers and me was the worst thing that's ever happened and that he's scared that my brothers will never talk to him again. He said he's spent 13 years trying to be a good dad to me, but I never came back to him. He told me that his and my mom's relationship had absolutely nothing to do with me and that he loved me more than anything. He begged me to forgive him and talked about how my mom forgave him and is happily married. He told me he just wants to make sure I'll be safe with the guy and that he's my dad and allowed to care about me. I told him he's hurt me worse than anyone, so he's hypocritical for trying to see if I'm dating a good guy or not. I couldn't be there anymore and just left. Edit. These comments have helped me realize that while what I said was okay, it is obvious that I am still hurt and that I love my dad. I do think I want a relationship with him. Does anyone know what I should do about his wife though? Super lost on that one. Edit 2. Texted my dad and asked him when he's free to talk. He lives in the same state as me, so I am happy we can have this discussion in person. Update. Thank you to everyone who gave me advice on the previous posts. It really helped me realize that while I was still angry with my dad, I do want a relationship with him. I decided to take the advice from many of you and talk to him about my feelings. He met me after work last night and we talked. I told him that I loved him but was really upset at him. I told him that I needed to know the truth about if he really regretted his decision and to not worry about hurting anyone with the answer. He told me that it was a hard question, that he loved his wife and new son but loved me and my brothers and would always care and love my mom, not in love, so he regretted the way he went about it. I told him that I'm going to therapy to help deal with it all, and that I need one-on-one time with him because the relationship has to remain separate from his wife. I told him that it means that she is never invited when I invite him over for meals and birthdays, etc. I told him that if he chooses not to come because of my boundaries, it's okay, but I will not be budging. I asked to speak to his wife and reiterated that I'm not comfortable with her in my life after what she did. I told her I know my dad is guilty too, but I love him and had a previous relationship with him. She cried and said she really wants to be in my life and that the extended family is going to pick me over her. It was kind of awkward, and I know you all may think that I was rude, but I can't have a relationship with her without fixing mine with my dad's. Lastly, I talked to my mom and she said that her new husband is far better for her than my dad was and to not worry about her and that she's proud of me for facing my feelings. My stepdad told me he's proud too. I invited my dad for dinner next week with my boyfriend and I am really glad that my dad gets to meet him. Not the idiot. I'm glad you're willing to work things out with your dad. My father also had an affair for a few years, and when my mom found out, she kicked him out, and my brother and I didn't talk to him for years. I ended up rather homeless at one point and ended up moving in with him. He and his affair partner welcomed me with open arms, and it really helped to make our relationship better. He died this year, a couple of months after my wedding, of a second brain tumor, and I'm so very grateful for those few years I had with him with a better understanding of his and my mother's relationship. I don't think I can ever forgive the cheating, but he was still my dad.